John, we're going to go to you with story number 4. This is coming out of the Orlando Business Journal. We've talked a lot in season 5 about what's going on with condo associations, some of the fraud, some of the changes that were put in place as a result of the collapse of Champlain Towers South and Surfside on the Barrier Island between Miami Beach and Sunny Isles Beach. Let me read you the headline first couple graphs, John, and then I just want you to sort of provide some insight to some of the particulars in this piece. And it does include a Q&A with somebody who basically advises on some of these condo buildings. So here's a headline. Orlando-based condo advisor offers the big reason Florida's condo market is dire. The culture wasn't working. And here's from the story. In the wake of a 2021 Florida law, condo owners are facing a variety of new requirements of potentially massive fees. Following the collapse of the Champlain Tower in Surfside, the legislature passed a statute requiring, among other things, that buildings over 30 years old, 20 years if it's on the coast, be inspected and collect reserve capital from owners in order to make repairs. In some cases, these could result in assessment as high as $100,000 a door over the next year for the individual owners. John Caden is an Orlando-based managing principal of the Condominium Advisor Group, a consultant group formed after the Surfside collapse. A Chicago native, he's worked in Central Florida since 2008. He stressed that the issues will be a problem in Central Florida, not just on the coast. The story goes on to address a bunch of different topics, John, that are kind of going on here. And let me read you one of his responses to a question that I want you to comment, because we've talked big picture about it, but I want to kind of talk about micro if we can. So the question is, regarding current condo owners facing an astronomical assessment, is there a way around that or any help for these individual owners? And the scenario is you bought a condo, it's an old ass building. Suddenly you have to do engineering study. You have to figure out how old is the roof, what's going on with the balconies, are the rebar, is it giving way? You got to change it. What's going on in the foundation, variety of different things. And then once you do this engineering study, you have to begin to immediately allocate cash to start to resolve the problem. So that's the big picture that you're dealing with if you own a condominium or if you think about buying a condominium. So again, the question is regarding current condo owners facing astronomical assessments, is there a way around that or any help for them? And the gentleman, his response is, I think it will run the gamut. There are people who are going to get crushed. There are people who might find some programs out there where they can get along to some level to help them pay. Those really high assessments, that's mostly going to be on the much older buildings. I don't really think there's a good answer. If you're living on a fixed income and you're in one of these buildings that hasn't been taken care of, that has all of these issues where your building was just avoiding these issues, some people are just going to be out. And those are the ones who are really going to hear about in the newspaper. John, a building built, say, prior to 2000, do these buildings have any chance, or should they just cut bait, try to terminate, and get the hell up?
Yeah, I mean, look, they're just darn lucky that we're now in we're still in a real estate uptrend. So, I mean, if this was happening in a downturn, I mean, they would get crushed, but they have an out. They can sell out to a developer who can take down the building and terminate the condos and build something new. And they can take the cash and go somewhere else. If this had been like, if we had been in a situation like the great financial crisis and this was happening now, I mean, these people really be like in bad shape. So there is an out, and that is you sell your condo to a developer. And it's the only way out that I can see, because
yeah, but John, I went on Zillow and I looked up my place and it's worth $1 million a door. How am I going to sell it for anything less than that? Now, granted, the special assessment might be $100,000 based on what the story says. So, I mean, how do you square that?
Look, I mean, what you think is worth may not be realistic, or it may not be what the market will bear at this time. But there's a good chance right now that your property is worth more than it was, say, when you bought 20 or 30 years ago. And perhaps you're in a great location and a developer is eager to terminate the condo, tear it down, put up something new and fancy, I think that's your only way out. Otherwise you have to pay the special assessments and the problem is that you're not the only owner in the building, so you're a fraction of the building. And so you have to be able to get along with everybody else. And that's really going to cause a lot of friction. And I mean, there's some people that just don't want to move for whatever reason. I think it's being short-sighted. But honestly, I think if you're in a condo now, or if you're contemplating buying a condo now, there's just a lot of uncertainty surrounding, the costs. I mean, not just renovating and bringing it up to code, but I mean, insurance and common area maintenance and all those things are unpredictable right now. And I think this kind of uncertainty is going to drive a lot of people away from condos, and it's going to give an opportunity to developers who have been eyeing, some properties and to tear down and redevelop. And I think that's actually a healthy, good thing.
Yeah, let me just read one more quote from this, and then we'll wrap up this story. And we'll move on to the next story. There's a quote in here from the expert, and he says, "What an engineer or reserve advisor is doing is looking at the main components of your property. Those are the studies that are supposed to be undertaken by 2025, both structurally and not structurally. And they say your roof has 3 years left, so you need a reserve. They're going to calculate what you need to put away from the new roof. Maybe it's just stucco on the walls, any common area components. They're going to look at the remaining life, and they're going to calculate what you need to put away to replace it. The fact is, nobody's been doing that up to this point. Even if they had a reserve study done, they simply didn't do it. They waited until the roof had to be replaced, and then they might do a special assessment. But all that is coming to an end. So I just want to put that out to the audience so they get a sense of what's coming come 2025, because you need to have that in place if you're a condominium in the state of Florida.